There was a last time someone carried you to bed, and you never knew it was the last. Your entire life is quietly full of these unmarked endings. You expect life to operate like cinema. You expect a musical swell, a dramatic camera pan, a neon sign blinking in the dark to warn you. But reality doesn't care about your script. Reality doesn't play music. Reality just unplugs the machine while you're staring at your phone. You walk around assuming continuity. You assume tomorrow will look exactly like today. It's a biological survival mechanism. If you understood the true fragility of your routine, you would freeze. But hidden beneath your daily planner is a law of nature. We will call it the phantom expiration date. Every habit, every relationship, every physical capability has a stamp on it, a date you cannot read. Think back to your childhood. There was a very specific, perfectly ordinary afternoon. You were playing outside with your friends. The streetlights flickered on. You dropped your bikes on the grass. You all went home for dinner, and you never ever gathered together exactly like that again. Nobody rang a bell. Nobody blew a whistle. Nobody pulled you aside and said, "Take a mental photograph." You just woke up the next morning. You got slightly older, and life silently pivoted on its axis. Look at the raw statistics. Time use surveys map exactly how humans spend their lives. The numbers are ruthless. By the time you pack your bags and move out at 18, you have already spent 90% of the in-person time you will ever spend with your parents. 90%. Evaporated. The remaining 10%? It is violently rationed, doled out in strained holiday dinners, rushed weekend visits, awkward phone calls from a grocery store parking lot, the era of sitting at the same kitchen table every single morning. It didn't end with a grand finale. It ended on a random Tuesday, and you were probably just annoyed about having to empty the dishwasher. You are constantly walking through tripwires. We call this the invisible boundary, a line in the sand you step over without looking down. There was a last time you sprinted at absolute top speed, just sprinting for the sheer feral joy of it. There was a last time you jumped off a swing in midair, a last time you unfolded a physical map on a dashboard, a last time you put a CD into a car stereo. You didn't hold a retirement ceremony for these actions. You didn't mourn them. The routine simply shifted. The muscle memory was overwritten by something new. You assume right now that you could still go out and sprint if you wanted to. You assume the door is still open, but it isn't. The hinges rusted shut a decade ago. You own shirts in your closet you will never wear again. You have numbers in your phone belonging to people you will never speak to again. You have walked out of rooms you will never step back into. If you are a parent, this math is even heavier. There is a specific day you pick up your child. You balance them on your hip, you put them down, and you never pick them up again. They get too heavy. Your back gets too weak. The invisible boundary is crossed, but you don't notice it over the noise of the television. The present moment is a brilliant liar. It tricks you into believing it is infinite. It convinces you that you have a bottomless supply of next times. Next time, we'll take the scenic route. Next time, we'll stay longer. Next time, I'll say how I really feel. But the chain of next times is remarkably fragile. It breaks. And it usually snaps at the most mundane, ordinary link. This brings us to the most uncomfortable truth of all. The principle of smeared finality. You are terrified of death. You think of death as a solid brick wall at the end of a long hallway. A sudden, dramatic stop. You think you are fully, completely alive until you hit that wall. You are wrong. Death is not a wall. Death is a process. It is smeared thinly across the entire length of your existence. Every single time you do something for the very last time, a microscopic part of you dies. It permanently concludes. The teenager who could stay up until 4 a.m. playing video games and still function, that teenager is already dead. The 20-something who could sleep on a friend's hardwood floor without waking up in agony, gone. You have been surviving these miniature deaths for decades. You are shedding old versions of yourself like dead skin, and you survived it all because you didn't notice it happening. Imagine if the universe actually gave you what you wanted. Imagine if a literal, physical bell rang every time you experienced a last. The noise would deafen you. Last time swimming in the ocean. Ding. Last time eating at your favorite diner before the owner sells the building. Ding. Last time your dog greets you at the door before his hips finally give out. Ding. You wouldn't be able to function. You would be crushed by the gravity of endless, overlapping goodbyes. The silence is a profound mercy. The silence allows you to keep walking forward. It lets you believe you are accumulating life rather than slowly spending it. You obsess over milestones, birthdays, graduations, anniversaries, funerals. You build massive monuments to these days. You hire photographers. You buy expensive suits. You think these are the days that define your timeline. But milestones are just artificial bookmarks, fake borders you draw on the map to feel a sense of control. The actual tectonic plates of your life shift on random weekdays. A Wednesday afternoon in October. A rainy Monday morning in March. These are the days the real endings happen. unphotographed, uncelebrated, completely ignored. You are watching this right now, feeling a sense of nostalgia, a sense of loss for the things trapped behind you. But turn your head and look at the present. The last time is not a ghost from your past. The last time is happening right now. You are standing inside several lasts this very week. Tomorrow, you will have a conversation with someone that will be the last of its exact kind. You will walk out of a building you will never re-enter. You will hold an object you will never touch again. You cannot point to which one it is. You are entirely blind to the finality surrounding you. And this shouldn't terrify you. It should wake you up. The tragedy of life is not that it ends. The tragedy is that we wait so long to actually inhabit it. We treat ordinary days like filler episodes, like gray waiting rooms before the real plot begins. But the waiting room is the main event. Because you cannot know when the bell will ring, you are forced to make a choice. You can sleepwalk through the routine, assuming it lasts forever, or you can assign absolute weight to the mundane. You can grip the steering wheel on your commute and actually feel the texture of the leather. You can look at the person across the kitchen table and actually see them, not just your idea of them. You are running out of time to treat your life as a dress rehearsal. There are no practice runs. Stop waiting for the grand finale. The finale is playing out in the coffee you are drinking, in the cold air hitting your face, in the quiet, ordinary room you are sitting in right now. The invisible bell is ringing. Treat this moment like it's the last time, because eventually, unavoidably, you'll be right.
Probably.